back at camp. Is there anything better? Is there anything better than New York Jets fans at training camp? Huh? I'm excited. I can't even take it. There's so much to talk about that I almost feel like I can't talk about anything. I'm like log jammed. I'm roadblocked. Gridlock even. It's exciting times, Jets fans. I'm in a good mood. So welcome. Welcome to episode 123 of GreenBean's Jets Pod. I am happy that you are here. I want to thank you for stopping by on the platform that you are choosing to stop by on. If it's on video, on YouTube, or Rumble, thank you. If you're in the audio side of things, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, or any of the other wonderful and delightful podcast platforms, thank you for stopping by as well. It's so cool that we get to hang out, man. I love it. I'm digging it. Episode 123, which will take us into a weird place because the truth is, we don't have an active player with number 23. So we'll see where that goes. You probably already are piecing it together. Wait, why don't you raise the 6 and the third power? You're doing all the stuff that I do, except I never say ever to the third power. Never. I've never done it. Never say cubed, squared, none of it. So it's good, though. But, no matter what your method of deduction is, you're there. I know you are. What do you think? Hey, I wanted to point out, look at this. I found it. I found my signed Crabette picture. I couldn't find it, man. I couldn't find it for years. What happens when you move from a house to an RV, back to a house? Yeah, stuff is everywhere. I found it, so I just put it up. I'm so happy. To Green Bean, best wishes, Wayne Crabette. Ah, what a good thing. So cool. So guys, we're going to get into some stuff today. We will talk about a player profile for a minute. I have a little way we're going to get around it, take it around to the third power, and we're going to do that. But we're going to talk about training camp, man. We're going to talk about some of the highlights. We had lots of friends there. You probably already know. We had Jets Media there. We had Tyson from Let's Talk Jets Radio. We had our boy Ryan, who was there from Jets Talk 24/7 and the Talking Jets channel, baby. We had all kinds of people there. It was great. Now, we're going to show you some clips that were so good from our friend Ryan that ESPN, CBS Sports, they were all asking him, hey, can we use this clip? Isn't that the goods? We see Jets Media. I was reading a CBS article earlier, and they said, it was reported, Jets Media said, yeah, Richie! I love it, man. It's so good. It's so good. Sack was there from the Jets Lounge. I feel like Jake Assman might have been there, but I don't want to say for sure. I saw our buddy Connor Hughes was hanging out, and we're going to talk about the fact that I will be going to Jets camp for the first time in a long time. My first time ever in the Florham Park era, man. I used to go to camp every year at Hofstra for a stretch. We'd just go. You didn't have to get tickets. You didn't do anything. I don't remember doing anything anyway. Let's go. We drove to Hofstra. We hung out. We watched the team. I was there during Kotite. I was there during Parcells. I might have been there during Coslet, maybe Carroll. Yeah. Sure. Oh, yeah, totally. Watching Pete Carroll run around, little young buck. He was the youngest coach in the NFL. Now he's all not that. But now we get to, we get to go to Florham Park. The truth is I grew up near Florham Park my whole life. I used to go to the Florham Park roller rink on Friday nights, baby. That's where I used to do, when they slowed down the music at the roller rink and like the next song is for couples only. And that was great if you had a little girl or whatever you were trying to get closer to. It sucked really bad if you didn't. You're like, good time to leave. And you roll off to the side. And you roll out of the rink door and you sit down with your friggin' roller boots on and then you wait it out. Oh, I remember. That was all in Florham Park, man. All in Florham Park. So anyway, it's going to be nice to go there and hang out with so many of you guys. I just can't wait. I'm bubbling over with excitement, anticipation. I'm flying up on Saturday night, afternoon, going to camp, and I'm getting on a plane Sunday evening, and I'm going home. That's it. That's what I'm doing. You like that? That's what's up. You got to do it, man. So before we get into everything, we're going to start with our player profile. I do want to remind you of something, man. I've been taking this testosterone booster. I've been talking about it, guys. I love it. I took a before picture. At some point, I'm going to show you the after picture because I'm telling you, it's working for me. And I went through the whole rigmarole about testosterone and everything. And if, you're in the normal levels, the insurance won't cover you to dig any deeper. And then the guys that aren't covered by your insurance, you got to pay $300-$500, the whole thing. So I started researching testosterone boosters. I wanted natural. I don't like chemicals. I don't like synthetics. I don't like it. So I found it, Testosil. It's the one that I'm using right now. I love it, man. I can't wait to show you an after picture. I'm going to be ripped. I am. I'm back, baby. It's going to be awesome. And guys, you can save 10%. I'm putting the link at the top of the description. Save 10%, and there's a money back guarantee. You don't like it, you send it back. Come on. If you're looking in this realm, guys start losing their testosterone in their mid to late 20s, man. It's crazy. So that means 25 years ago, I started losing my testosterone. I have no idea. I'm just like, why am I so tired? What's going on? Anyway, Testosil, I believe in it. I love it. It's one of the only all-natural testosterone boosters on the market. Ashwagandha is the probably the main ingredient, I would say. But I love it. Testosil, you can try it out. If you're one of the 3% of women viewers and listeners, man, you can buy it for your man, see if he likes it as well. Testosil. Thank you, Testosil. So now let's get into this whole thing. We have episode 123 here, right? So we got 123. That means I'm going to talk about player wearing the number 23. But it just so happens we had one just a few short weeks ago. We were all excited. The Jets used a 7th round pick, sent it to the Baltimore Ravens to trade for Chuck Clark. Chuck Clark, the safety, very versatile, could slide up into linebacker, can play free safety, can play strong safety. But no matter how you slice it, he tore his knee and he's out for the season. So currently, nobody's wearing the number 23. And it's a shame because we were excited about it, man. Excited about a versatile player. He's very, very good, very strong, really known for being a sure tackler, which was one of the, look, we had this great defense, right? Many categories, but there were some imperfections, let's call them imperfections. One of them was not the best tacklers all the time, right? A lot of missed tackles. So you bring Chuck Clark in, he's known as a sure tackler, among the best in the NFL for defensive backs, and he's out, man. He's gone for the year. We never get to see him. So the Jets signed Adrian Amos to kind of fill that safety void, a little bit more of a free safety, of course, but we bring him on, and the Jets just signed a guy named Dane Cruikshank. Remember Dane Cruikshank? We were looking at him in the draft a few years back. Ended up being a 5th round pick in 2018 of the Tennessee Titans. Decent player, kind of a depth guy. Had a good 2021. In 2021, he played 14 games. He had 43 tackles, 30 of which were solo. We had a forced fumble and a pass defense. So he's not a guy you're going to be like, yeah, man, we got him. But he's definitely a solid depth piece. He's also known to be good on special teams, right? Which is really the key. It's what we saw, one of the deficiencies, I guess you can call it, of Denzel Mims is that, he can do this, he can do that. He's big, he's strong, he's fast, but he doesn't play special. So if he's not good enough to be in your top 3 or 4 receivers in your mind, you need these back-end guys to play specials. It's just the way it works. So Cruikshank can play, right? He's had starting experience. He has NFL game experience, but he's also a special teamer. So there you go. So who knows if he makes the team, but we bring him on. We bring on Adrian Amos. We bring on Cruikshank, And we already have Tony Adams and Ashton Davis and obviously Jordan Whitehead. And we got Bernard Converse, who we used a draft pick on. Now he's wearing a boot right about now. He's not necessarily on the healthiest side of things, but it's early. They're not too worried about it. Salah said it's not the biggest thing in the world. So we'll see where that goes. But they have him listed as a safety too. I can't help it. I connect him right to Pinnock. It's like we lost Pinnock. Converse slides in. That we're remaking it. We're pushing reset on the Pinnock development experiment, and we're doing it with Jared Bernard Converse. So we'll see how this goes, man. Maybe Crookshank doesn't make it, but the Chuck Clark vacancy definitely creates some opportunities. Now, interestingly, last week we did Tony Adams because he's wearing the number 22. They're giving him reps with the ones, man. So it's not like I think a lot of us assumed that, hey, Adrian Amos is coming. He's the starter. Maybe he is, but it's not exactly in stone just yet. And that to me is interesting. I like it. I like what Salah's doing. There's competition all over the joint. Offensive line, running backs. We got the safety competition. We're seeing Jamie and Sherwood getting a shot to slide into that third linebacker spot, which for a defense that predominantly runs a 4-2-5, the third linebacker isn't what you would call a starter per se, but he's going to get tons of reps. And that's what we saw with Quan Alexander. Quan Alexander played less than 50% of the snaps last year, 49%. And he managed to stay healthy all year, right? That was kind of Quan's bugaboo. Since 2016, he hasn't had a single season where he played every game. And he comes to the Jets, plays 49% as the third linebacker, and he makes it. So there you go. We do that with Sherwood. I think Sherwood coming in that capacity can be lights out, man. Him and Quincy and CJ, dude, they could lump up some people out there, fatten some lips. And, yeah, that's right, man. Bloody him up a bit. And I think it's beautiful. So there's competition going on all over the place, and I'm really excited about it. We got the bottom end of the wide receivers as well. And we'll talk about one of those guys. Made a beautiful, beautiful catch day 4 of training camp. So exciting times, guys. Exciting times. But there's our player profile of the week. Chuck Clark, Crookshank, Amos, Tony Adams, bleed over. There you go. All right. There you go. So now, I mean, what are we going to talk about, right? What is this? We got to talk about the fans back at training camp. Now, the coolest thing we'll get into, it's not going to be what you think. I'm going to tell you the coolest of all in just a second when we get into the news of the week. So say what you want about Twitter and Instagram and all the social media, Facebook, if you're doing that. Say what you want about all its negatives, right? And they're there, right? Plenty of them. But there's some cool stuff that comes out of this. One of them for me is that I see a clip. Like I know people are at Jets training camp. I know them. I know they're there. And I just go, hey, what happened with that thing? And what is it? And they get right back to me. I love it. They're like, oh, yeah, no, that was this. Yeah, that was actually this guy. And I'm like, oh, my God. It's the coolest thing in the world. It's like you have, men on the scene, so to speak, men on the street. It's like the greatest thing in the world. I just had a beeline to all these awesome, awesome friends. They're just like willing to, communicate and everything. It's a beautiful thing. It's not quite as good as being there, I'd imagine. I'm gonna take a risk and say it might not be as good as being there, but man, oh man, is it a close second. It's just like, you don't have to wait like in years past. We would wait for some article to come out from some negative Nancy, Oh, Sanchez looked like this. Tebow was walking around without his shirt on. And it's like, oh, that's what we get. Like, can I get something? Give me something, boy. I want something to chew. I don't give a shit about Tebow's T-shirt or whatever. And that's the stuff. We'd have to wait for it. And then it was whatever they wanted to give us. It's not that anymore, and I love it. But that's not even the coolest thing. The coolest thing of all is that they put an awning. It took us a half hour to figure out what that was called in last week's Thursday Think of It, by the way. We couldn't figure it out. Roof. They put an awning over the fans' seats. And it took them years to do this. I mean, it would be, that was what you heard. It was awesome, but boy, oh boy, was it hot, man. Just baking in the sun. They put an awning over the top, and everybody's cooler. Isn't that great? So therefore, it is the coolest thing, and I'm so happy for everybody, man. You get to sit in some shade. I'm sure it's still hot as hell out there, but it's got to be helpful. So that's really cool. I'm excited when I go there. I'm going to get to sit under the awning, man. It's going to be great. But all these things are coming out. Now, it starts with the fans are there. You see them online. Woody Johnson's hanging out. Everybody's hanging out, chit-chatting with the fans. And then Aaron Rodgers walks out. And he gets his official Jets fan welcome. And it sounded like this. And thank you to Ryan from Jets Talk 24/7 and Talkin' Jets channel for providing that snippet, that lovely little snippet that we get to look at. The fans said, yo, we're happy you're here. Let the world talk. Let them talk about you being the most overrated player in NFL history. Let them talk about Jordan Love. What's the big difference? Like Romeo Dubs. I don't see what the big hubbub is. Jordan Love does the same stuff. He does? Okay. All right, good. Yeah, he's a quarterback. What kind? He's the guy to snap the ball to and throw it. That's all you need. So let them all talk. The Jets fans let them know, hey, buddy, we're psyched. We're psyched. And we're not just psyched about you, Aaron Rodgers. We're psyched that we have a plethora of stuff waiting for you to play with. That's the best part about it. It's not like, save us. I mean, a little bit, it's a little tiny bit save us, but it's not, we're not looking for a guy to elevate a bunch of scrubs to, a good enough to make the playoffs. We're talking about a guy who's good enough to come in and utilize the myriad weapons that Joe Douglas has put forth for the quarterback to utilize. I mean, this is brand new, man. It's not Chris Hogan and Robbie Anderson and Dante Moncrief and whoever else and Trenton Cannon. You know what I mean? It's not those guys. It's Garrett Wilson. Breece Hall they're taking their time with. But look right, you got Michael Carter, Bam Knight. You got all these guys, man. You got Lazard, right? You have McCall Hardman. They're all making plays. Conklin, Ruckert, everybody's out there. It's an amazing thing. So the fans just let them know, hey, you, we like you. And that's the way that it goes. It's an amazing thing. So one of the more exciting things to happen at camp is like, you don't love this kind of stuff, but look, if you're a football fan, maybe some of the younger fans are a little bit, don't take this the wrong way, but maybe a little softer in this regard. Like it's a different world, right? It's a different world, different game. But like anybody over the age of, I would say 25, and it's probably the young guys too, don't get me wrong, but there's something, if you're a football fan, there's something about violence. That's very attractive, right? It's aggression. It's like it's an outlet. It's a way to kind of tap into that thing without having to get in any trouble and, get arrested. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Whatever that is. It's a way. It's like, so as soon as that happens, you get excited. There's something primal that happens. Now, you don't want to see it with your own players too often, but early in training camp, jobs are on the line. This is the stuff you kind of want to see it. Now, hopefully nobody gets hurt or anything like that, but there were 3 fights on day 3 of training camp. And one of them in particular looked like it was going to get pretty nuts. Jermaine Johnson and Michael Clemens were kind of going at it with Ruckert and some other guys on the O-line. And Michael Clemens, man, he didn't have the bat or anything, thankfully, but he took a haymaker swing at our boy Ruckert, who got out of the way, thankfully. But I like it. I like that Ruckert's in there. Like, here's the whole thing. If you're getting somebody mad on the opposite line, it's usually, unless you're a dirty player, which it doesn't look like, we have that many, dirty players compiled on the roster. But when somebody gets frustrated, whether it's the defensive lineman frustrating the O lineman or the tight end or vice versa, it's usually because you're playing hard and you're doing something to frustrate them. They can't do what they want to do because you're doing what you want to do better. That's what happens. I've played football my whole life. I've been frustrated many times, and dare I say, I have frustrated my fair share. Okay? So that's the way it goes. It's a give and take in all this thing. You win some, you lose some, but you like to see it. There's guys playing, like a Michael Clemens. He's trying to let the world know I'm ready for an increased role. Jeremy Ruckert was essentially redshirted. We saw one play, he dove on his face, and that was the end of Ruckert. And we all have high hopes for the Long Island native Jets fan. We love his dad. We want to see Ruckert play himself into the lineup. We want to see him on game day. I don't just want to see him running up and down the field on kick return and such. I want to see him on the field with the offense, and I want to see this guy start to create the career that I and so many Jets fans think is awaiting him. That's what we want to do. So this push and shove and aggression, you know they're all cool after it. Hey, man, no sweat. That's the way it's going. But in the moment, it gets hot. There's a lot of testosterone. They're all taking Testosil, everybody. I can guarantee it. I can see it with my own eyes, right? So there's lots of testosterone. There's lots of adrenaline pumping, and it's hot. And they're trying to show up, man. They're trying to win their jobs. And it's interesting to see. We got all kinds of clips and videos from all of our buddies there. Really amazing to get to see that stuff. But now getting to the play, let me tell you something. There was a play on day 3. We'll stick to day 3 for a sec, where Garrett Wilson goes streaking down the sideline. Aaron Rodgers takes I think it was a 5-step drop. O-line gave him some adequate protection, and he lofts it to the sideline. And it didn't make it to his target because Sauce Gardner blocked it. Now, how did Sauce Gardner block it? You're seeing lots of Miami Dolphins fans in particular, but lots of people are coming in and saying, Sauce Gardner is holding, you can see it with blah, 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 blah. Now, these guys don't know football, right? Anybody saying that, they're thinking with their emotions, they're trying to find something, they're nitpicky. Number one is training camp, so it is what it is. But what Sauce Gardner is doing, he's got his hand on his hip. It's holding when you're impeding the progress of the receiver, right? When you're pulling him, you're creating movement that he's not making with your contact. That's when it's holding illegal contact, pass interference, those types of things. Having your hand on the receiver, no issue. No issue, particularly because his head is turned. See how I'm still talking in the mic? I thought about this ahead of time. His head is turned, his hand is there for establishment, and he uses his 9-foot-long arm to get in front of the ball, and he blocks it. It was a great route, it was a good pass, and it was fantastic coverage. It's amazing. Now, the great news for us is that we get to watch these two young studs help fashion and create their potential careers together. That's what we're seeing. We're watching these two guys have to play against two guys that mean business. Garrett Wilson went out there and said recently, because let me tell you, I have to admit, I share the sentiment that I just wish, I gotta say, I just wish he would stop juking and cutting so much in practice. I'm like, oh my God. Like, there's no reason for that extra cut, man. Just stop it. We're so traumatized here. Really, I'm one of them. I'm like, please. That's how I feel every time. I'm like, oh my God. Now, Garrett Wilson, he heard some of that, and he came out and he said, I believe in practicing like I'm going to play. Okay, well, I'm going to say this. He probably knows best. Right? Probably. I mean, I'm not a rookie of the year. I'm not. I'm not even a player. So there's that. Now, I've played, right? But I'm not an NFL player. I don't know. I've never been to a training camp, an NFL team or anything. So he believes in practicing like he's going to play. Now, what's the benefit of that? That when he gets into a game, it's not faster. He's not doing anything different. His body's already used to what he's going to ask it to do in the game. So therefore, he's better prepared, more prepped. Football shape. Remember? We say that all the time. So there's logic there. Now, hey man, whatever works, right? I'm hoping, and I'm certainly not throwing any jinx or anything like that, but it's nerve-wracking to watch. But you look at this guy, he's practicing hard. You know, Sauce Gardner's practicing hard. He doesn't want Garrett Wilson to beat him. He doesn't. He's there trying to work on his game. He wants to be a perennial All-Pro. That's what so you got these two guys going head to head in training camp. So when they get to the games, they've played against arguably the best, right? That's what we want to see. We've heard it so many times. You hear the phrase iron sharpens iron. It's very true. It's very, very true. But a lot of times we had Marshmallow trying to sharpen iron. You know, maybe wood. All right, you know. It's not going to work that way. You need to actually have two pieces of iron in order for that to work. Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner are exactly that. Now, we saw all kinds of fun plays. We saw the defense make their plays. You saw the offense start to settle down and make their plays, which was good because let's be real here. Robert Saleh said it. The defense, a lot of these guys are going on year 3. Some of them year 2. The offense, got a new quarterback. You got a smattering of new skill position players. The offensive line isn't set. Oh, by the way, it's a new offensive coordinator, new offensive line coach, new wide receivers coach, new system. So it just might make sense that they're going to take a minute longer, right? So it's good to see them settle down and start to be able to find their pockets in the defense. Number one, because you don't want the defense going into the season with this bloated sense of superiority. They need to know that they need to show up every single play, every single snap, every single moment of said play and snap. So that's the way that's got to go. But it's also good to see that the offense can play against a defense like this, because that's what we're hoping. That's what we're missing. The defense played well enough, better than well enough, quite frankly. It was the offense that where we were deficient, where we fell short, it was the offense, and particularly the quarterback room. So if we can have that, it's going to be great. Now, moving into day 4, we're all wondering who's going to replace Denzel Mims. Well, there's a couple candidates. One of them is this year's undrafted free agent, Brownlee. You ever heard of this guy? That's right, Brownlee. Well, he made a wonderfully acrobatic catch on the sideline using one hand from one Zach Wilson. It was actually a beautiful pass, perfectly placed. Matter of fact, Zach Wilson threw a beautiful touchdown to McCall Hardman, where he threw it a little bit high, where McCall Hardman had to jump up. It looked like it was intentional. I don't know if that's possible with Zach Wilson just yet, but it looked like it, and it was great. And you can see the intensity. You can see the passion with the offense. It's really quite incredible to see. Like, it's not just humdrum. Like, okay, yeah, we got down the field. It's no big deal. We're in shorts. It's not. It is a big deal because they know who they're playing. They know the defense is bringing it, and they want to put this together, and they want to start being able to do the things that they're trying to do, and they're able to accomplish that. We also saw a touchdown to Conklin from Rodgers over Jamien Sherwood, who was, I got to tell you, was pretty damn good coverage, man. He was blanketed. It was a perfect pass and a great catch with coverage all over him. Sherwood, he didn't make the play, but it shows he's there, man. He's right there, and I got big plans for this Jamien Sherwood fella. So it looks like the Jets do too. So it's really, really exciting, man, to see. Now, really the highlight, in my opinion, there's so many. There was a great catch from Garrett Wilson in the back of the end zone. Where he fully extended and toe dragged, to get both feet in. Amazing catch. And it just shows, man, again, practicing like he plays. It's just fantastic to see. It's not like, it's practice. No, he's taking it seriously because he needs to get everything down, the chemistry with Aaron Rodgers, the new offense, the calls, the signals, the assignments, everything down. We have perfectionists in there. Garrett Wilson leading the charge. But really, I think the coolest thing was Aaron Rodgers comes up to I almost said to the plate. He comes up to the plate with Clemens' baseball bat. Aaron Rodgers comes to the line, gets under center. He looks, he stands up a little bit and goes like something. He looks at Lazard. He looks at Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson starts doing a thing, trying to make sure I get it. They snap the ball. Completed pass to Lazard over the middle. Beautiful, dude. That's the stuff that in our history, man, we've seen brief glimpses, maybe a Testoverdi. Pennington was good at that. Being able to identify stuff and go, we're going to do this. Back it up, make the call. Sanchez, I don't even know if he was allowed to do it. He did it here and there, but, maybe Fitzpatrick for that year. But by and large, guys, we don't have that kind of confidence in our quarterback, in our offense. And even if they do, it usually doesn't work for us anyway. This is going to be different. It's new for us to see the quality of players being able to work this out. And that's what practice is for, man. That's what it's really for. It's to make sure that what you're trying to accomplish on game day is attainable, is real. I understand it. I'm not thinking, hey, what was that call? Oh, shit, what does this mean? And you're in the wrong spot. Oh, my bad. We want to mitigate that as much as we can. We want to take it out entirely if possible. You want these guys to live, eat, sleep, breathe this offense. And the defense, too, if I'm being completely honest here, and transparent and thorough. But that's what we're seeing going on in practice. And it's an amazing thing to watch, man. It's an amazing thing to watch. I want to remind everybody, I'm going to be at Jets camp on July 30th. I also am trying to put together, I believe it'll be August 17th, where we will be having the joint practice against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That'll be fun. That's some scrimmage action. That's what you want to see. It's going to be amazing, man. I can't wait to hang out with so many of you guys. It's going to be great. If you're going, let me know, dude. Let's try to get a handshake. You know what I mean? Let's try to say hello to each other. It'll be great. It's one of the things I really look forward to whenever we go to the game. It's just so great to meet so many of you guys. I love it. I can't wait to go. Guys, that's our show for the day. Training camp is on like Donkey Kong, and it's just the beginning. We have so much football left in front of us, whether it's camp, whether it's the Hall of Fame. Next week, pretty much. Next week, we got the Hall of Fame game. We got the Hall of Fame inductions. You got all that fun stuff. Then we got the preseason, and we can watch One Jets Drive and Hard Knocks. Then we got the season. Oh, my God. Isn't this fantastic? Guys, have a great week. Thanks for hanging out. And as always, go Jets.